welcome to another edition of the Ohio Guys here. I'm Christian Ocampo, and today we're joined with another voice actress today, and this is the second interview she's done. Time recording, we have Jennifer Losi.
Hi, it's so great to be here.
It's great to have you. We are very excited to get a chance to talk to you about some of the shows you worked on.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited to talk about them.
All right, well, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. We just got to chat a little bit before we started, which was nice since we only ever get to sort of talk on the internet. And so it's fun to do this in sort of person. So welcome to my living room. Hi. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yep. Thank you for having us online. So we got some questions we'd like to ask you. First of all, what is it like working in the industry today?
Working in the voiceover industry, I love it. It's a lot of fun, and I think what makes it really special is the community. Voice actors tend to be really friendly and very supportive. Like, we watch each other's stuff, and we share information about classes and training that we're doing, or just cool resources. I know I've gotten messages before. They're like, "Oh, hey, I'm casting. Are you right for this thing?" And I'm like, "No, but here's 3 people who are." And everyone's just kind of like that. And really it's great that people sort of build each other up and are very welcoming and, try to share information. Like, when I first started in voiceover, I didn't really have a community yet, and I didn't know anyone out here. I didn't really know what I was doing and where to take classes, and it was great to finally meet people who were like, "Oh, let me tell you." And so now I get to do that too. Here's some stuff I know, and getting to pay that forward is awesome. Because I think it can be daunting, trying to break into an industry. I've been acting for a long time, but I'm sort of new to you guys in voiceover. But there's so many opportunities now, with streaming networks. There's so much content, and there's all sorts of new cartoons being created, and there's a ton of anime that might not have been localized before, but it's getting translated, and there's just a demand. And so because there's a ton of us voice actors, but there's a ton of work to do. And so there's really room for everybody. Even if people have similar voices, no 2 people are the same. And so you telling a story is different than someone else who might be sort of vocally similar. And so, yeah, I'm really excited because it feels like there's sort of a spot for everybody. And I don't know, it's an exciting time to be working in voiceover.
Oh, definitely. With all the stuff coming out, just cranking out, it's amazing. Just how many people can get involved in all these shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all the amounts of shows that have come out and they got to work on, what is your favorite show you've worked on?
I'm sure everyone says this, but I love them all. Is that too cheesy?
No, not really.
They're all so different. I've really been lucky to work on a ton of great things, whether they're little things no one really knows about, or giant shows on Toonami. I've been on Toonami. What? This is bonkers. But each show has been really exciting. Each character is so different that it's hard to pick a favorite, because I kind of love all my kids. Though I guess I will say that Sirius the Jaeger will always have a special extra place, because it was the first anime that I worked on, and so it'll always get an extra half heart point for that, I guess.
That's fine, fair enough. It's always the first ones I can decide to go back to. All right. Speaking of Toonami, what was it like working on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
It lives up to its name for sure. JoJo was really cool. Tony Oliver, who directs it, teaches some classes in Inventors in Voice Acting, and so I got to work with Tony before in a classroom setting. And so it was fun to get an opportunity to work with him on a real show. And when I first got called in for JoJo, it was for some incidental characters. So a couple of students and some coworkers, and that awful woman that hates her rings. It's not fancy enough. And then Kira removes that from her very quickly off screen. And so I was like, wow, I got to work on JoJo. This is really cool. I'd started watching it because I had some friends on it. I was like, that was amazing. I can't believe I got to work on JoJo. And then I get another email that says, "Hey, we want you to come back, but this time you're Shinobu." And I was like, what? And I binged like all of the back half of Diamond is Unbreakable like in like 2 days because I was like, well, I'll just wait, I'll watch the dub and I'll watch my friends. And I was like, so I watched all of that. And Shinobu is, to put it politely, a hot mess. She has a really interesting arc, actually. She starts out pretty miserable and hates everything about her life, has a terrible relationship with her husband and her son, and is just kind of sitting around all day. And then she finds love and fixes her family. It took a serial killer to take over the body of her husband to make that happen, so that's, maybe not the best way for that, but, she kind of gets to run through every possible emotion. And JoJo, everyone kind of starts at 11 and goes way past that, so nothing is too far in terms of, whether it's excitement or fear, and all of that with JoJo characters. So that was cool, because I also then got to do like a fight scene, sort of, with Kat. And I loved all of her like inner monologues about how she was really feeling about people. Those were a treat to work on. And then I got to come back also as Reiko, who's one of the U-Babes. She's a Highway Go-Go's fangirls. And what's fun about that is like I'm now friends with those other girls too. Like I hadn't met them before, and so like Deneen and Allegra and I have all like we just need to all hang out. But it's been really fun getting to be on this show. There are some people that I've been doing voiceover with for years in classes and things, and we all kind of got to be on JoJo like right in a row, like Stefan Martello and Philip Reich, and so it was really kind of exciting to be like, it's my first JoJo episode, and the next week like it's my first JoJo episode, and so like we'll all watch it and like be like typing to each other. And so like I definitely remember being on like a messenger with like Stefan and being like on the commercial breaks like, this is really funny, like you're doing a great job, and it's just, I don't know, it's like a weird world that I live in now where I get to like turn the TV on and watch my friends do stuff, which is pretty exciting. So I'm gushing a lot about it, but JoJo is such a crazy experience. And then also like being at Anime Expo this year and seeing everybody cosplaying it was cool. I did see some folks from Morio Town, but a lot of course, Golden Wind. But it's, it's fun to have a little sort of like insight to the JoJo land. And I'm excited to see, hopefully, the next season will get a dub, and I can't wait to see who's on that.
Oh, definitely. And your friend Kira, she's excited for that too.
She is the guiding light of Morio Town. But yeah, we all definitely need her to be in that show again as a JoJo. So I'm hoping the universe aligns for that, because she'll be a genius, and I can't wait. I hope it happens.
Same here. Same. All right, and since you really mentioned this show that's on Netflix, probably still on right now, what was it like working on Sirius the Jaeger?
I love Sirius. It's first of all, it's gorgeous. The animation and like, the fight scenes, it's incredible. PA Works. I was a huge fan of them from Professor Layton from the games and the movie they did, and then to like be in a show they made is wild to me. But yeah, I said earlier, Sirius was my first anime. I actually didn't know what part I'd be playing because my character's name was translated differently originally. And so I watched all of it. I was like, this is cool. I don't know who I am. Maybe I'm like that maid at the front. Neat. Like, it's my first show. Whatever, it's cool. And so I show up, and I'm terrified because I haven't, worked on an anime show yet. And I walk in, and Christian Lamont, who I was in a class with, was the director, and I was like, oh, okay, it's somebody I know. I was like, we were in a scene together from Fate in a class, so that was cool. And he was great, and then Lucy and Dodge actually had directed some of it as well. And they made me feel so comfortable, and then they were like, oh yeah, you are a maid. You're actually a lot of maids, but you're also this vampire lolly. And I was like, what? She's amazing. I can't, yes. And then my twin was Jackie Loster, who I adore. And so what was fun about that is we do a lot of VO in unison, or like building off of each other. And so for the first 8 episodes, she recorded first, and I would match her stuff. And then I actually went in first for the last batch, and I was like, no, I like hearing Jackie. So then it was my turn to sort of like set the pace on some of it, which was fun. But we voiced so many incidental characters, the two of us. Like, we're like every kid and like maid and waitress, or not all of them, because some of the other actresses also voice incidentals, but there's definitely times where I'm like, that's me and Jackie talking in unison as two high school girls. That's me and Jackie talking in unison as two kids on a train, and then also like I'm my own mom. So anime's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to do more of it, but it was a really good cast, and like the show it's such a wild universe. So I don't know. I hope there's more, but definitely if you haven't seen it and you're into vampires and werewolves and like very serious, brooding, handsome gentlemen who sword fight, or not sword fight, but I don't really know what to define it with his weapon. But check it out on Netflix. It is still there. It's pretty exciting.
All right. Another Netflix show that you have to be part of. What was it like working on Kakegurui Season 2?
Another show that's super subtle. I had watched all of Season 1, and I was like, this show is nuts in all the right ways. Like, the art is so crazy, and I found it fascinating, all the different kinds of games they would come up with to have everybody play. Some of them obviously like a little violent, but just like the different kinds of card games. I grew up playing a lot of cards, so it was sort of interesting to me of like the different games. And so getting to work on that. Terano is in charge of the Momobami clan, and she is not having it with everything that's going on with Kirari. And so I'd be interested to see where the rest of that storyline goes. She's kind of like if you took all of Shinobu's emotions and shoved them into like Ringo, because she's very like she plays her cards close to the vest. No, all puns intended. And so she has a lot of subtle power. Whereas everyone else is like a bonkers, off the wall, like larger than life character. She's very subdued. And so I'm like, what is she up to? And what's going to happen? And please write more manga and more episodes of the show, because I would love to get to step back into that world. But yeah, it's a really... I am working on a lot of things where it's like trying to explain to my mom what the show is about. This is one where I'm maybe a little bit looser with, you're like, well, it's about some high school kids, and boy, do they love card games. And I leave some specifics out of that, but I think it's a fun show, and I don't mind the wackier side of it, because I think it's a treat to watch.
The faces. you gotta the faces.
I got so excited twice. Terano does what I call like Kakegurui eye, where it's like just like the super close up of like a very angry eye that is. Yeah, I was like, yeah, she does the eye. That was fun. The couple times she gets to have a little bit of an outburst, so I enjoyed that.
So did I. All right, and then just coming back to the Toonami side.
Yeah.
I was working on Sword Art Online Alicization.
To be on something like SAO is still sort of hasn't really sunk in. I went to the panel for the show at Anime Expo this year, and it was just just sitting there. And actually, it was me, Michelle Marie, and Kaylee Mills all sitting there like the secret voice actor line, and we're just like watching. And we're like, this is our show. Like, there's all these people who are here to see this. It's wild, but I love Rinko. Rinko's one of the characters where, because sometimes we're cast in things and we just sort of wake up and are like, great news, you're in this show. But Rinko is one I auditioned for specifically, and just like from the second that the sides came across my email, I was like, oh, I get her. Like, I just connected something about her experience, not obviously having never dated a guy that, killed a bunch of folks in an OMO or anything like that. I don't mean that kind of experience, but I come from game development, and so I've been like a woman in like technology for a long time. And so I was like, oh, I get to play women in technology. But I think what's really fascinating about Rinko is like, unlike Shinobu, unlike some of these other characters, everything is very subtle. Everything is very private. And so I think the moments where she like opens up to like Asuna about like what she feels over like the SAO incident, and all of that is maybe the first time she's really talked about that. And it's interesting to see this woman who's so brilliant and so professional trying to sort of access her own emotions a bit. And like my favorite moment on that is like there's a scene where they're having lunch together, and there's something in the script, and it's like she laughs, and I was like, what does her laugh sound like? We've never heard that, you know. We've heard a lot of other emotions from her, so it's very different. But working on that with Alex Von David, who knows, he adapts the scripts and he knows every nuance so perfectly. It's a treat because he can really guide us to telling this story in a way that's, honest and meaningful, even at the times where it can feel more soapy. And so, we might spend a million takes on a sound, just to make sure it has all of the meaning. But I really can't wait to see what happens in the back half of the season, and all of the adventures and the terrible things that I'm sure will go down. I actually just got the light novels to read because I was trying to not read ahead until the season was done. So now that we're done watching the dub, it's time to find out what's going on the Ocean Turtle and what's happening in the underworld. And so my summer reading list is my stack over there of sword art novels. So some poor teenager in my local library is going to be very upset that I'm borrowing them right now, but I'm hoping that I'll burn through them quickly and then they can get back into rotation. But yeah, so I don't know if I answered that, but I love working on sword art, and it's just an opportunity to play somebody who's so just intelligent and interesting in a way that's different than the other characters I get to play. It's nice to slip into her lab coat once in a while.
All right, and then stepping away from anime for a moment and jumping into the game aspect.
Yeah.
What was it like looking on Shadowverse?
I love Shadowverse. I love collectible card games. I had like a Hearthstone addiction that was pretty hard until I started auditioning for Shadowverse, and I started playing Shadowverse. I haven't stopped playing Shadowverse. Working on that was really fun. If you don't know what Shadowverse is, there's like 1 billion cards, and I am 2 of the 1 billion cards. And so it was recording it was really fun. I played a very lovely cleric character who's from the Grand Blue Fantasy world. And that was a real treat working on that, and sort of fun in the session being like, oh, I know what that is because I play. So I'm like, I get the mechanics you're explaining to me. You don't have to work as hard. And Kane, who directed that, was super cool and really fun to work with. But then once it came out, getting card packs, opening them and trying to find my card was fun. She's not a super strong card in the meta, so but she does show up. They have an arena thing in the game, and so sometimes other people will have me, and I forget sometimes that I'm in there, that I hear my voice. I'm like, oh, somebody just played Sophia. Got it. Okay. Good luck to you. But losing to your card sucks. That's a new experience. Being, killed by you. Not fun. But actually I think several of the voice actors on Shadowverse play. I've played matches with Kira Buckland a few times, Kira is aside from being amazing and an incredible voice actor, she's a fierce Shadowverse player. But she also voices really good cards. So I run a bunch of decks with Kira in them. But so we definitely had a Kira deck versus Kira deck battle, waiting for a workshop one day, which was pretty fun. And I've purchased leaders in the game that I'm like, oh, that's my friend, I want to play as them. So maybe someday I'll get to collect a whole deck of people that I know. I don't know if it'll be the strongest deck. So far, everyone's in different classes. So I need them to cast us accordingly to the classes that I really like to play, so that I can win with the LA voiceover community. I think that is really important. If Side Games would get on that for me. If you do play Shadowverse and you're watching this, I would like your Havencraft deck ideas. Please send them to me so that I can be better. I'm medium good at the game. I'm not amazing at it because I don't always have time to keep up with the meta. But yeah, it's fun to be in something that also a lot of people play. Like, I've worked on games as a producer that sometimes, don't necessarily take off, but Shadowverse is huge, so I'm hoping that more good things come for it and that they make content forever and then also have me back.
Definitely. All right, now some of our funny questions that we like to ask all the VAs. If you could be any character you have played in real life, who will you be? And you can mix and match.
Well, I voice a lot of women who have very troublesome exes or husbands, so I don't really want to be married to a serial killer, or I don't want to be undead, so that eliminates a lot of characters. But I think, actually, I just worked on this movie in the Sound Euphonium universe. It came out, and I watched it yesterday at the movie theater, and that was a new experience. But I voiced this character, and they're named Hazuki, and she is very sweet and a great friend and very positive, and is a little more go with the flow than I'm capable of being. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure situations with the band. It takes place in a high school, and they're working towards these band competitions. And she's a not great tuba player with a lot of enthusiasm. And so I think Hazuki would be somebody who would be fun to be, because she's just so positive and doesn't have any troubling backstory at all. Like, she used to play tennis. She didn't used to, like, I don't know, murder people and become a vampire. But I think I'd like to give her some of Rinko's brains. Not that Hazuki isn't bright in her own way, but I think, being somebody who's really just a joy to be around, but also could, like, program something brilliant or discover some new AI is pretty exciting to combine all of that. So I guess I just want to be an awesomer version of me. If we're just breaking it down, like, I want to be smarter and kinder, and look really cute in a marching band outfit, I guess. So if we're doing high school back over, I'll be Hazuki.
Alright. So yeah, before I forget to mention that movie, Sound Euphonium, that just came out in this week in theaters on July 15th of 2019, during this recording. Why don't you tell us about Sound Euphonium and then it being in theaters?
Yeah. So Sound Euphonium is an anime series that I didn't know anything about until I started working on this movie. And now it's like one of my favorite shows. There's 2 seasons of it that never have been dubbed, but they are available. And it follows the freshman year of a bunch of girls in a band in a Japanese high school, and the trials and tribulations of trying to do well in school and maybe improve your band that's not super great, into getting into these competitions, and then just sort of like being 15 and what is that like. But they have great friendships, and it's very sort of heartwarming, wholesome show, which is a nice contrast to JoJo and Kakagurui and all of those things. This one I could tell my mom about. And so there's another movie in this series, Liz and the Bluebird, which some folks may have seen, that also takes place in the world of Sound Euphonium. So there's only those 2 things that have been dubbed so far. And so I'm hoping that because they had a screening, they did it at Anime Expo, and then on the 11th of July, the sub-screening played in theaters, and then on the 15th, they had the dub, which was pretty exciting. So I'm hoping that people will discover it, like I did. Like, I'm trying to, like, slow down watching it, because I don't want to run out, because I love it so much, but it's my, like, watch it during breakfast, sort of start my day show now. I made the mistake of watching JoJo while I was eating. Don't do that. That's how I first introduced myself to that, was the Italian restaurant episode over dinner. Not a food show, guys. So I'm watching that, but I really hope other people discover it too, and maybe there'll be more dub projects, whether it's us or folks from whoever. I don't care. I want it to get dubbed because I want more people to know about this show. I really enjoy it. So hopefully, if you're like, what is a euphonium? It's like a smaller tuba. So learn about it, watch the show, yeah, hopefully, I don't know, maybe the movie will get a home release at some point, or it'll be on streaming and you can check it out. Maybe that'll happen by the time this airs. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I have no rumors to confirm, but I'm hoping that Sound Euphonium gets some more attention because it's pretty lovely. So yeah. I dig it.
Definitely, I went to go see it myself at my theater, and I enjoyed it. I do hope be another movie, or it does get dubbed, like as you already mentioned.
Yeah.
Just cross our fingers for that day.
And there's so many great folks in the dub, and Christian that I mentioned earlier on Sirius, he directed it, and he's also in it. And Xanthi Wint, and Laura Post, just all these people that I adore. Like, we're all like high school friends in this movie, and it's pretty great. Not gonna lie, living the dream for real.
All right. So, is there anything else coming out that you can talk about, or anything you want to plug in at this time?
Well, I've worked on some video games that hopefully they are coming out in the next few months, so maybe there'll be some things to share. Nothing I can say today, but I'm excited that to be in some games that I'm looking forward to playing. So that's always great when you get to work on anything that's exciting, but then also if it's something that you're going to enjoy later is icing on an already ridiculous cake. So sorry, but stay tuned. Announcements are coming.
For sure. All right, and then for social media, do you have a Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, any other social media for the fans to get a hold of you?
There's like a new one every day, and I'm not hip enough to know the new cool ones. So I'm on Twitter. That's the best place to find me. I try to be active on there, especially on Toonami nights. I am at Jen Losi on Twitter. That's just JenLosi. Come say hi on there. Let me know what you're watching, because I'm always adding to my anime list. And what you're enjoying, or your Shadowverse deck suggestions. I'll take all of those. Technically, I'm on Instagram, but I never use it. I post like twice a year. So Twitter is the best way to find me. And I don't know, maybe some new exciting platforms will be invented, and I will show up on those. But I'm not on Snapchat or any of the cool ones. So that's where you can get a hold of me. So say hello.
All right. Well, thank you for this interview. Me and the Ohio guys appreciate your time doing this with us.
Of course. I am really excited to have gotten to chat and sort of gush about what I get to work on. I'm really lucky to be, starting in a career that is something that is creative and brings me joy, and it brings all of you joy too. So thank you, folks watching, for supporting these shows and these movies and these video games so that we can keep making them happen. So thank you, and thank you, Ohio guys. Thank you, Christian. It's been really fun.
Same here. Thank you, Jennifer, and then thank you to the viewers watching this. We, the Ohio guys, appreciate it, and we will all see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye!